right. Well, first of all, thank you so much again for joining the show. This is the Shop Talk Quinny podcast. I'm your host, Joshua Edwards. This is where we keep it real, relevant, and relatable. And today I have the phenomenal Jake here with us today. So excited to have her. We go back to days at Loyalist College. I'm not going to say a whole lot because I'm going to get her to introduce herself here. Jake, maybe take a moment, introduce yourself, what you do, where you're from, and where you reside right now.
Yeah, no worries. Hi, everybody. It's nice to meet everyone. My name is Jache Windover. So I actually originally grew up in Belleville, Marmora area. So that's, again, where I met Josh. Again, we go way back. So I met him during my college years at Loyalist, studying sales and marketing there. And then I actually just recently moved to Guelph, and I'm actually working from home due to the COVID order and everything, which I do find a little bit easier for me, if I'm being honest, which I like. So I just moved to Guelph, and I work from home for the Digital Main Street initiative that I'm not sure if anyone's really seen it, but it is pretty big right now, helping small businesses around Eastern Ontario and all Ontario as well. But what I do is I am the digital marketer and team lead for one of these teams that we have. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Wow, incredible. And Jake, I'm so interested. Obviously I've seen a bit of your evolution over time. Super proud of, your journey, a fan over here, if you will, kind of looking at your evolution and loving every moment of it. Tell me a little bit about your journey. Like you came from Loyalist College, you had, obviously a journey in between there and what you're doing now. What does that kind of look like for you? Maybe give us a bit of a play-by-play.
Yeah, of course. So after I graduated Loyalist, I actually ended up staying in Belleville for a bit, just working some retail jobs, really trying to get into my field. And then I actually got in contact with an agency in Toronto. So it was called the Mint Agency. Still there today. Great company. I absolutely loved working there. So I did intern there, which was great. And then I got some experience, but I actually moved back to Belleville when that intern was done, just because COVID did actually start kind of popping up then. So I went back to Belleville, stayed home for a bit. I actually got in a work from home job. So I was working with the Alzheimer's Society doing their graphic design, which is actually something that I wasn't super familiar with, but I got my hands in it and got a little dirty, and I actually really enjoy it now. So that's something I got to add to my portfolio, which is great. And then after that, I actually moved to Guelph, as you may know, and I did state earlier. So I did move to Guelph, and now I again work for the Digital Main Street. Kind of my journey really started from really like connections. Like connections are huge, so always expand and talk to people when you can, and really, yeah, that's kind of how I got to where I am, just really meeting people and getting to know people and hearing their stories and really learning and taking what I could from them and applying it to my own life.
Wow. It's so incredible to hear, where you've come from and what you're doing. And I'll be completely honest and transparent with you, Jake. The number one question I get from any business owner regarding the topic of Digital Main Street is, how easy is it to get a grant? Like, what do I have to do? I'm actually, looking, maybe we can provide some value here for the listeners that are going to be listening to you. Just how easy is it for a business to take advantage of this? Because I've already worked with several businesses, variety of them, that have taken advantage of this grant. It's a great program. Really hats off to you guys for taking the lead on this and making this available to business owners. And, it is fairly easy, but just from your words, how easy exactly is it for a business to take advantage of this?
Oh my gosh, it's honestly as simple as 1, 2, 3. To be completely honest, they have to go online. They just fill out the registration form. So you can either do it through DMS, I believe it's .com or .ca. And you can also go through Launch Lab as well. So that's another business development center that helps local and small businesses in the area. And that one is actually located in Kingston, if I'm not mistaken. So what they do, they actually, you just go to the website, you go and you fill out the application, it gets sent through to us, and then we kind of filter through, seeing kind of what needs each business really desires, and where we can kind of put them to in the funnel. And then after that, you meet a team, the team goes through, we'll talk about from the initial proposal stage to kind of what the team's going to do for social media and your digital transformation. We'll also go through some website changes for you and any recommendations that the team has in their expertise that they want to give the business owner, as well as they provide any additional tools, templates, any how-to guides, anything for a business that they might need in the program, which is awesome. And then when a business actually completes the program, they get a full handoff. They get everything that they'll need, any emails, business development centers in their location. They get all of that information. So it's great to be able to continue and give clients that information, so they feel prepared for the future endeavors that they may come across. But yeah, it's very, very simple. We typically don't turn anyone away. Everyone is always welcome to apply to the program, and especially for grants too. I know there are a few different stipulations with the grant itself, but again, super easy to apply for it. The process is very easy. I've actually come across maybe a handful of clients, who didn't actually receive the grant from DMS, but again, that it does depend on stipulations on where your business is located and that kind of thing. But overall, the process is extremely seamless.
Thank you for giving us the play-by-play, Jake. And it's so true. Lots of great resources there. And the thing that I really love about the program, selfishly, is that the amount of power it actually gives to the consumer. The amount of education, tactical and strategical around, what decisions do I need to make, and what things should I be looking for as far as taking my business online and making myself more flexible as far as being a service provider, being a product distributor. How do I take my business to the next level? What kind of, tell me how important that is to what you do, as far as giving the end consumer power, as far as educating them, making them aware of what's involved in an investment like this.
So for the end consumer, for our program specifically, we try to give them all the tools and all the how-tos and everything, so they can continue. Again, we are trying to future-proof them. So what we do, we take the client in, show them everything we need to, and especially digital presence. It's extremely big right now. I mean, it's 2021. Everything's online. You shop online. Everybody's looking online right now. I know you can't really go into stores and that kind of thing. So having an e-commerce site for a lot of our clients is kind of where they're going to. So teaching people how to use e-commerce and getting their site up and running is really it's not gratifying, but it's very exciting as someone watching a business grow. It's like, oh, we're going to give you all these tools and you're going to succeed and we're going to do great, and really having that with the client and having that experience is super eye-opening to kind of what things are coming to for marketing. So I think that's kind of the best kind of answer I could really give to that one.
Well, no, and it's so on point, because to your point, yeah, giving them the tools that they need to be successful, and also the education that goes along with it. I think that's super powerful, because I think historically there's been a huge gap kind of in the service that an agency or firm would provide a client, but then the client's actual understanding of that service, of that investment. And I believe what you guys are doing a phenomenal job at is closing that gap between knowing from the customer standpoint of view, understanding exactly what they're getting into, what to look out for, and things of that nature.
No, yeah, I completely agree. It's I've had a lot of clients feedback saying, it's love the program. Like we not only received great work, we also learned ourselves. So that was something that was like, oh, we succeeded. Like we know that you understand what to do next. So we are okay letting you kind of have the reins and taking things there. So
That's super, super cool. I'm always looking to provide value for people that are going to be listening to this. And obviously, marketing is something that is exploding, in 2021. As far as like people that are looking for job opportunities, I hear about this all the time. People looking for kind of to reinvent themselves, looking at new opportunities across different industries. Is DMS hiring? Are there opportunities there for individuals who, maybe they're looking for a separate second career, or kind of pivoting from something that was drying up as a revenue source and now kind of looking at another area? Are there opportunities there?
So DMS typically is actually for graduating students. So within like the 2-year graduation mark, that's who we mainly hire for the program. Just so then, they can get experience in the working force. They don't have to, wait around and, hear back from employers, we need more experience, we need more experience. So like we want to give students and graduates the opportunity to really gain that experience. And, if say, for example, I went in as a digital marketer, like I've learned how to do copywriting, I've learned UX UI design. I've learned graphic design. I've also worked on some coding that I've actually never done before. So it's a great opportunity for new students and graduate students to really develop their skills, or find another maybe field that they might want to go into instead. And you really get to expand your knowledge within the program. So I think it's huge. I know that the DMS teams we just went actually through a hiring phase. So I know we have a few more teams actually joining us. I believe it's next week. But yeah, other than that, it's a great program to really expand our skills. That's kind of what I got to say on that.
That's awesome. I appreciate the feedback. Just looking to provide some information. I know some people that will be listening, maybe they're in a situation right now, and maybe they're looking at some other options. So always try to provide value there. I want to switch gears with you, Jake, because I just think that you're a very interesting person in general. You have a lot of goals, aspirations, things that you're up to. How are you doing in this time where the world is just so vastly different than it was 10, 12 months ago? How are you doing?
I'm good. I mean, the adjustment was very hard at the beginning for me. As you may, and the viewers may kind of realize, I'm a very talkative, very people person, upbeat. So I very much like to be in social settings. So having, the COVID transition, I found that it was very hindering on my own personality, and trying to get that back up motivation was something I really had to work on. I mean, I've overcome it, and I've kind of found my tricks and my little niches to stay focused at home and really thrive in a home environment. But other than that, like, I mean, I find for marketing specifically, or even like shopping or anything that it's just become like a whole new world, especially for me, like living in 2021. Like I never expected this would ever kind of be this kind of situation. So I feel like for a lot of millennials and anybody like this kind of age range and the youth, it's an adaptation. It's something we've never been used to. We've never had to do it. So yeah, I mean, kind of to each their own. Like it's definitely per person as the situation goes. But no, I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I'm living life, loving working from home, and I love my job. So
Awesome. And one thing that I think of when I think about this past year, and one of the biggest lessons I learned was around surrender, and really what that meant for me was taking a step back, realizing what was out of my control, and therefore realizing that it actually didn't serve me to dwell on what wasn't in my control, but then doubling down what was and going all in on that and building that up. If you think back to this past year, what would you say is like a maybe the biggest lesson, or one of the biggest lessons or takeaways that you've taken out of this past 10, 12 months?
for me is really patience. Like you really have to like not everything can be done instant. Like, I mean, we are living in a very digital world now where everything's, simultaneously, we get that gratification instantly, but I needed to learn, I mean, personally that, that's not always the case. Like you don't always get that instant gratification. You have to, work at things and they do take time, and, planning out your next steps is huge when it comes to, your own personal growth and your own success. So taking that time to really, sit down and focus on what you need to do, and taking the patience to have that time frame go by to be like, okay, it's been a week, let's do another week and another week, and each week it's going to get better, and you're going to progress more. So that was my biggest takeaway from 2020.
Love that. And it definitely resonates with me. Patience is a huge thing that I'm great at in some areas and I highly lack in others. So it's great to kind of hear, your viewpoint on that. And it's a real thing, especially when, and I've heard it said, sometimes like speeding up people want to speed up the macro, but speeding up the micro is actually what kind of leads to that macro result that you're looking for. So, that's something I really try to take into my day in and day out. Jake, I'm super curious. Like, you're a super creative person, brilliant. And this is a segment of the show that I always love because it really kind of helps to dig in a little bit deeper into the human, Jake the person. And it's around dreams, creative people like yourself, myself. I find that there tends to be a commonality between us being, dreamers, really having, some big picture thinking as far as, what we're doing now, what we want to do, what we see for ourselves as it pertains to the present and the future. So if I can go with you here for a moment, I would love to kind of hear just your thoughts and aspirations for yourself. Obviously, you have an incredible role in what you're doing right now. If you were to think, 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road, what does life look like for Jake? What do you see kind of for yourself in the years to come? I'm so much of a dreamer and I'm always looking forward and speeding up the micro and in looking at that. I'm curious what your thoughts are for yourself.
Yeah. So for me, like for my, dreams and aspirations and kind of where I see myself here is I'd really actually like to continue working from home. I know for career wise, I really enjoy, being home. I can cook and do all my stuff and have a shower in the morning and take my time and wake up. And I feel way more prepared for my day, being in the comfort of my own home. Don't get me wrong, I do love an office setting. So I do love going in and having that, direct office setting. This is where I am. This is what I have to do. So I mean, for me, like splitting my time between office and home is something I would really like for my, work-life balance, as well as for me, like position wise, like I mean, all-time goal, I would really love to be like VP of marketing, for a marketing company in Toronto or, New York. I'm dreaming pretty big. So those are kind of my aspirations for career. And yeah, like, I mean, life goals, like, I'm hoping to buy a house in the next, 2 years. So that's another big thing in my life. And yeah, just kind of going with the flow, keep swimming with the fishes, just kind of mosey 'em.
That's awesome. And I appreciate you sharing that, Jake. I find that when we speak, things that we want to happen in our lives, we almost speak it into existence. The moment it leaves our lips is the moment it's like, oh, this is real. This is like, this could
You got to
happen.
put it out there. You got to put it out there.
1000%, 1000%. So that's why I love this segment, because it really, gives me that opportunity to hear from you, the person, and understand, what it looks like in your mind and your head going forward, and the reality of how realistic that is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a goal that I'm working towards. So I'm taking my little micro steps to get my macro result.
Love it. I'm okay. So quick question, because I think this will bring value. I'm really looking at and very interested in the culture of the navigation of LinkedIn. Obviously I see you on there quite a bit. How has your experience thus far been on LinkedIn? And by the way, for anybody listening to this, any tips or tricks or things that you've learned along the way that could be helpful for anybody else navigating the platform?
Yeah, for sure. So LinkedIn is actually, it's not pretty new to me, but I've actually just started really using it. In 2020 was kind of the year I really hopped on and learned about it and learned the culture and everything on LinkedIn. For me, being on it, like connection is huge. So like always, commenting on people's stuff, congratulating, reaching out for their birthday, like just the little things really help with connections, especially like across any industry. It doesn't hurt to be a nice person. And like everybody always, they cling to it almost. I find. So, reaching out to people, connecting with individuals, or, hopping on any webinars that they have are super, super insightful, especially when, learning about marketing or learning about any industry actually. But yeah, like I would even say, randomly message someone, ask how their day is going, build that connection from nothing, just because why not? So that's my biggest thing, like reaching out to people, and don't be scared to reach out to people. They're on there for a reason. They want to talk to you. They love talking about what they do. So asking someone, what is your job like, or how did you get to where you got? People love talking about it. So don't be shy to ask. It's okay.
I love that, Jake, and here's the reason why. You just talked about something that I thrive on when it comes to things like building relationships, even business development. Like I find on the platform, like it's so often that you'll get like 100 different messages from people, and more times than not, it's, hey, we'd like to help you with X. And I've talked in the recent past about some alternatives to that, and actually align with what you just said around actually being interested in the person, kind of what they're up to, building a relationship first, and then if you want to introduce your thing later, go ahead. But building that foundational relationship is certainly important. What are your thoughts on that for anybody that is kind of using the platform for business development, for example?
No, I mean, I completely agree. For business development, like reaching out to people that way and asking, their services, and, for your inbox, for example, I think it's great. But I do agree with what you said. Like, I know building that connection first, like we're all human. We all enjoy connection. That's what we thrive on. So having that, open connection dialogue first is a great way to build your business. Like there's no other way to like chat with anybody, I guess, is kind of the way I want to say it. Like you want to be personal, you want to be authentic. You don't want to be fake. People can see it. They know. So having, business development on there and really talking about it and being personal, people are really going to listen, and they're going to want to hear what you have to say.
I love that. And Jake, with marketing, there's so much encompassed in marketing, and it's really a creative area and space, and we love it, obviously. But when I say the words marketing, maybe one anywhere between 1 to 3 things that kind of come to your mind when I say the word marketing. What does that mean for you?
Um, for me, marketing, I think creative, um, like experimental, um, out of the box. Like for marketing, you always want to be innovative, and you want to find the next best thing, and the next way to deliver things to your consumers, and you really want to stay top of mind and keep with trends. And I find that especially very, very much new generations are very much, on trend, and they want to always find, what's the next hottest thing. So for marketing, you initially have to do the same thing. You need to find what's the next hottest tool or platform to use, or or business development, strategy. So for me, like it's really all about innovation and creativity.
Awesome. One last question. What best advice that you would give to an entrepreneur, marketing person that is, they have a business and they're really kind of trying to look in the right direction to do some effective marketing for their business? Your thoughts?
Yeah. So my best advice, I mean, definitely reach out to different programs that help you as well. Always go on, webinars and information sessions that will really help you build your business. And I mean, stick to your goals, stick to your mission statement and your company goals, and try not to stray away. Like when you go in, like when you build a business as an entrepreneur, you put your heart into it. So you don't want to lose that on the way. And having your heart in the business is something that's going to grow your business regardless, because you love it. I mean, you're going to treat it like a baby, like it's your baby, it's your business, like you love it. So that would be my best advice.
Jake, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate your insight and wisdom today. It's so awesome to be able to chat with you and hear what you're up to and give some value to our listeners today. Thank you so much.
No worries, no worries. It was great to connect with you. I mean, I missed you, and we haven't talked in a minute, so it was good to chat.
Absolutely, absolutely. We'll continue the conversation. Great to chat with you, Jake. Take care.
Bye.